Memory of Jared Ochen. Today we learn the Haftorah of Parshat Pinchas. It's on page 1460. It's from the book of Kings 1, chapter 18. It's about Elijah the prophet. What do you know about Elijah?
He never died.
Never died.
Either was the reincarnation of Pinchas, or was actually Pinchas, I read, lived on to become Eliyahu.
But it was reincarnation of Pinchas, that's for sure. Yes. And that's why we read the Haftorah of Parshat Pinchas. We know him from the Elijah from the Pesach, from the Pesach Seder, the cup of Elijah. We also see Elijah.
Well, Elijah, the whole story with the giving, the whole thing on top of the mountain. Where
Top of the mountain Carmel, there is a whole Haftorah of Parshat Mishpatim, a whole story how at Mount Carmel he gathered all the Jews because it was a time they were worshipping the Baal, and there were hundreds of prophets running around and speaking in the name of the Baal, that the Baal is the true God, and was only Elijah on the other side. And he was a king, he was a prophet in the kingdom of Israel. And who was the king? Ahab. Evil king. Elijah was in a very bad political climate. That once for all he decided he's going to do it. He gathered all the Jews in Mount Carmel, and he says, we will build an altar, and the person who can bring down a fire from heaven, he speaks in the name of God, right? He said, you are the many, you start. 400 prophets of the Baal, they offered a sacrifice on the altar, and obviously there is no fire. No, tell them to be going. And he said, you start. They started. I have a day they tried to bring a fire.
The rabbi says.
Very discreet.
Well done.
Thanks, Corey.
The girl's nice. It's very tan. I like that. Sorry.
In any case, I have a day, the Medrash says that was one guy who tried to crawl underneath the altar, here, to light a fire. You know, from far you don't see how the fire came. There's a fire. And a snake killed him. In the afternoon, came time of Mincha service, Mincha time. Elijah says, now it's my turn. He cleaned up the altar, he poured a lot of water all over, and he turned to God and he says, God, you have to show once and for all who is speaking in the name of God. And a fire from heaven came and consumed the fire, the offering. And what the whole nation announced? They announced one.
Said God is right and Baal is wrong. That day.
They said that, but they said something very powerful. That we said on Yom Kippur before the end of the service.
7 times?
7 times, yes. What do you say 7 times? That we say 3 times.
Oh, excuse me.
What do you say 7 times? We say Shema Yisrael once, Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto 3 times, and we say something 7 times.
God of compassion and...
No, I know what you mean.
No.
That we say during the all service many times, yeah. 3 words.
I know it.
Hashem hu Elokim. God is the Lord. Right? 7 times. This is coming from the story of Elijah in the Mount Carmel. Straight to Yom Kippur, to the end of Yom Kippur. Now it's a continuation of this story. The nation was so angry with the false prophets, they killed them all. And Nachov believed in God. And Nachor is going home, back to his kingdom, to his palace. And Elijah was running in front of him. It was like a statement. Elijah says, let's join forces together and start to lead the country the way God wants. Now that you saw, what could be a better proof? He brought down a fire from heaven in front of the whole nation. You cannot get anything better than that.
I missed what you said, Nachor?
Ahab.
Achav in Hebrew.
Achav in Hebrew.
Ahab, king.
Thank you.
Then he said, that was the best, it was on his best position, Elijah was, right? But let's see how this developed.
Excuse me, Rabbi.
Yeah, please.
Could you speak a little bit about forcing God to create that miracle, like on demand? I'm always troubled with that, and I don't
It's in
know
his
who could
honor.
really pull it off.
It's in Hashem's honor.
Listen, there are some prophets that God is listening to them. Elijah, actually, when he had an argument with Ahab, he said it will be a drought for 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a drought for 3 years. Hashem was not happy with Elijah's decision, but he lived up to it. From time to time, throughout history, not just in the time of Elijah, God shows an unbelievable miracle that people should see, that he runs the world. Like the Entebbe raid, that the Jews were saved. Then the Rebbe said this line, that from time to time God shows miracles to remind the world that he runs there is a boss. Or on the Hudson River, the plane that landed on the Hudson River, nobody came out, people came out without a scratch. From time to time God shows you, don't think it's running by itself. There is a boss here. Then it's not a surprise that a prophet like Elijah gathers the whole nation and he says to God, let's straighten this out once for all. But you're right, you know what the problem was? Didn't help much. Now people say many times, I wish we would have a miracle. If I would have a miracle, it would be the splitting of the sea, if the fire would come down from heaven, no, I would believe. For 2 weeks. That's in a good time. Maybe. Actually our generations that we don't have prophets and we don't have miracles, we live up to a much higher level of connection. Because we show that it's an internal, it's a conviction. It's not an outside thing. Look, Moses tried to do anything to bring the Jews to the land of Israel, right? What do you need? Manna. Here's manna. What else you need? Water. A check. What else you need? 10 plagues. Whatever you're splitting the sea, whatever you want, just let's go to Israel. Didn't help them. They don't want to go. You cannot change people with outside forces. It's nice. It's like the icing of the cake. Yeah, it's nice to have a miracle from time to time, you know. Gives you some chizuk, some strength. But you don't count on it. And that's what Elijah did. And Elijah, so to speak, can't force God because he's not doing it for his own sake. Listen, God cannot be forced all the way. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't do it, you know, right? He still has the free choice. He wanted to do, the tzaddikim are so connected to God that God is doing the wishes, fulfilling the wishes, because they don't do it for themselves. Elijah did not have any interest for himself to have this miracle.
What about the bris right now?
We'll get to it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to read from inside. But I'll tell you, I don't see a problem. We are all trying to force God. When we pray to God, what is this? God, I want. There is something, it's called iyun tefillah. You shouldn't ask too much, like you shouldn't insist. But the bottom line is, the Torah tells us that we could insist, we could ask and pray again and again and again and again. What does Choni, the story with Choni, the Ameagel, the one who made a circle, it was a drought in Israel, and he said to God, I swear in the name of God that I will not moving out until you bring rain. And God brought rain. There is stories like this throughout history. Literally throughout history, from Abraham, from Noah, until tzaddikim in our generations, who said to God, Here there is no choices. You're going to do it and finished.
But we don't hear the 50 million other stories that didn't happen for other reasons that God didn't want to.
Exactly, you're right. You never read the stories that didn't
We
happen.
only
You
hear the
understand?
handful
You bet.
that-
You're absolutely right, yes. But it's the beginning,
This is
it's
so
only
remarkable.
an handful, it's only a reminder. It's only used as from time to time as a reminder not to lose faith, to know that God runs the show. But God doesn't want to be forced to change nature. Nature is also, who established nature? God. It's like you establishing a certain system in your company. You have the right to override the system. On your computer, you can override it, but you don't want to override your own system. You established a system for the sake of having a system. Your kid's going to sleep 8 o'clock at night. Sure, you from time to time, you override the law and you let them stay longer, but you don't want to use it too often because you want them to go to sleep 8 o'clock. Forcing God to change nature is not what God wants. God wants within the world of nature we should serve God. With miracles it's easy. A big chokhmah to do it with miracles. The accomplishment is to do it within the frame of nature. That's what the story is all about. But from time to time we have no choice. I mean, the state of Israel is not one big miracle.
I was just gonna say.
And Six-Day War,
1948.
Six-Day War was an unbelievable. In Yom Kippur there was sun. The Syrians could come all the way to half of Israel, to Haifa, and they stopped on their own. Later he was executed, this officer who gave the order. But the bottom line is they didn't go further. There are miracles. In Israel, Ben Gurion said that in Israel, to be realistic is to believe in miracles. To be a realist. I mean, the state of Israel is booming, and that doesn't make sense. But it is a fact. And today it's actually easier to believe in God. You see so many miracles and science comes with such unbelievable discoveries that you see that God is putting in people's mind to find the different directions. And what is involved, what God invested in the world, there is so much more to be discovered still. Unlimited. With this introduction, we'll start to read from inside a little bit.
God's hand was with Eliyahu, granting him strength. He fastened his belt in order to run faster and ran in front of Ahav's chariot until he reached Israel.
The prophet ran in front of the king, the evil king from yesterday, but he felt that he saw the end of God, he should do tshuva. That's only the last verse in the chapter 18. The main story of Torah, the main story is chapter 19.
Ahav told Jezebel, everything that Eliyahu had done, bringing down fire and rain, how he had killed all the prophets of Baal by the sword.
Okay, who is Isabel?
His wife.
She
Who
was
is
a
she?
Gentile and she was a pagan and she wanted to
Yes.
kill all the prophets.
Yes, she was an evil woman.
She not only she wanted to kill all the prophets, she killed a lot of prophets.
Yes, she
In the
did.
land of the river.
And Obadiah saved in 2 caves. He provided for 50 prophets in one cave, for another 50 in another cave, and he saved them. But yes, that Ahav was a Jew. Ahav came all inspired from this event. He told everything that happened to Isabel. He was so moved by the miracle. He had a neshama, a Jewish soul. You wake him up, he's connecting right away. Isabel told him, "What? That's what happened? Elijah killed all my friends?" Okay, number 2.
Isabel sent a messenger to Eliyahu saying, "May the gods of Baal do the same to you as you did to their prophets, and may they do more so. At this time tomorrow I will do to you what you did to them."
Simple as that. She ordered a death sentence to Elijah. She's the queen. There's no chachmas. She will kill him. That's what she said. Okay. Mark? want to continue?
He saw that he was in danger, so he got going and fled for his life. He
Simple
came,
as that. Prophet, a prophet, but you have to pray for your life. Doesn't mean that God will interfere every time on his behalf. Go ahead.
he came to Beersheba,
Beersheba.
which was under the rule of Yehuda and not Achab, and he left his
That's
servant
why he
there.
fled to there.
He then went into the desert, a distance of 1 day's travel. He came and sat under a rentma bush for a shade, and he wanted to die. He said, Hashem, a life of pain like I am in now is too much. Take my soul as I am no better than my father's.
Whoa! First of all, who is reminding you?
Jonah.
I'm surprised that the prophets want to die.
Under the tree.
Another,
Shade.
for shade.
Moses had said this a bunch of times too.
Yeah, Moses says, again, you know, like Moses didn't say, I want to die. Moses says, kill me. Even better.
Well, he said, erase me.
No, but in Parshas Ba'aloischa, he says, kill me. I can't take it anymore. But you see, he was going to in the desert. Why? What strange thing is, now that he was in his peak, finally Elijah made a statement, proved that he speaks in the name of God. Now you want to die? Now? A little strange. Okay.
He lay down and slept underneath the ratama bush. Suddenly, an angel touched him to wake him up and said to him, "Get up and eat." He gazed around and look. By his head there was what appeared to be a grilled cake and a flask of water. He ate and drank and then lay back down.
Okay. That an angel woke him up. Who brought him the food?
The raven?
The ravens from where?
Another story.
From where they bought it? From where they bought the food?
It was a cave, wasn't it?
Hav's kitchen, right?
From Achav's kitchen. Obviously, Achav's kitchen was kosher. Yeah.
Well, there must have been a deli nearby.
The bottom line is, he ate what to eat. He ate and drank. Okay.
The
Continue.
angel, God came back to him again. It touched him and said, "Get up and eat, as the journey you wish to undertake is too far for you to go without food."
Well, then you have to eat before you go. We are in number 8, right?
He got up, ate, and drank. Then, miraculously, with the energy from this meal, he went 40 days and 40 nights without any more food, up to the mountain of God in Horeb.
Wow.
This is very strange. First off, he has 2 meals, and only with the second one does he get rejuvenated with a vitality to do what Moshe did. I mean, it's absolutely.
But he walked, Moshe went up on Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights.
But Moshe was basically an angel, so he didn't need to eat.
And that's 40 days. In this 40 days, he was an angel.
But can we interpret anything here?
It's the same.
Yeah, I mean,
Moses.
Elijah eventually disappeared, didn't
Yes,
even die.
yes.
Actually, he did better than Moses at a certain point.
It's the same mountain, though.
So is this
Sure.
a forerunner of where things are heading, that he's
Yeah.
able to do this?
Absolutely, yes. And he went to Mount Horeb, just like Moses went up to Mount Sinai for 40 days. Mount Horeb is Mount Sinai, the same mountain.
How did he know where that mountain was? I mean, he was a prophet, obviously, but
From Beersheba for 40 days, he made it there. I'll tell you, he went a mount like this for a person who is a tzaddik. He sense where to go. It's a matter of sensing, holiness.
Like a homing pigeon. They know where to go.
Exactly, like pigeons. Like the Jewish people, they know where to go. They go to shul. Usually.
It's a God positioning system,
Exactly.
GPS.
It's a spiritual GPS. Yes, absolutely. Okay, we are in number 9. We are number 9 or what? Yeah. He came down.
He came there to the same cave where Moshe had stood, and he slept over there. Suddenly the word of God came to him. "Why are you here, Eliyahu?" God said to him. He said,
Oh, he was sleeping in the same cave that Moses was. How? Where is written that Moses was in a cave?
he was in the cleft of the rock at one point when God.
Because
Well,
it's-
that was just to protect him.
Yeah, this is it. When God, in the same place, he was, Elijah came to the same spot where Moses was. When God revealed himself and showed him the back and not the front, God passed by, yes. Okay. And what he told them, God is asking him, what are you doing here, Elijah? Right? Ma lecha po Eliyahu. God didn't ask Moses this question. What do you want, Moses? God invited Moses to come up. Here God is asking Elijah, what are you doing here? Basically, you should be with the people. What are you doing here? What is Elijah answering? Number 10.
He said, I have zealously avenged God, the God of hosts, and killed the prophets of Baal. For the children of Israel have abandoned your covenant, torn down your altars, and killed your prophets by the sword. I'm the only one left, and they want to take my life.
Whoa! Whoa! I avenged you. He avenged the God's honor. He killed all the prophets of the Baal. The Jewish people are bad, right? Your children of Israel have forsaken the covenant. They destroyed your altars. They killed the good prophets. That's what he complains, right? And I'm the only one who is left, and they want to kill me too.
What about
So
Israel?
self-centered. Right?
Not doing what Moses did. He's not a defense lawyer here.
Right.
He's a prosecutor.
Like,
This is anything God can tell him. Really? That's bad. For this I can turn on 6 o'clock news. I don't need you. And this is after the whole event from Mount Carmel. And he's complaining to God that the Jewish people forsaken the covenant. The Medrash says that's why God made it, that in every breeze, Elijah should come to witness that the Jewish people are fulfilling the covenant. God told them, you speaking Lashon Hara about my children,
right.
you will be, that's why by every breeze we have a chair for Elijah. From there it's coming. Forsaking the covenant? That's what you say about my people, my kids?
He's supposed to be out there encouraging the people, helping the people.
Number one. Number two, defending them in the eyes of God. Fighting why they're good, even though they're bad, to turn this around.
Right.
Like Moses used to every time turn things around upside down just to save the Jewish people. Here suddenly he says, and I'm the only one left, and they want to take me again. Okay, number 11.
God said, go out of the cave and stand at the mountain before God. God's presence is going to pass. There was a great and strong host of angels of wind, splitting mountains and shattering boulders before God. God does not come with angels of wind, thought Eliyahu. After the angels of wind came angels of thunder. God does not come with angels of thunder, thought Eliyahu. After the angels
By the way, thunder could also mean, in Hebrew, rash, also in some places means earthquake. It was an earthquake. Things were moving down. Go ahead.
After the angels of thunder came angels of fire. God does not come with angels of fire, thought Eliyahu. After the angels of fire came a subtle, silent voice. What happened was, when Eliyahu heard this silent voice, he covered his face with his
Okay, let's
cloak.
stop a silent voice. A silent voice. Then God is not in the thunders, not in the fire, not in the wind. God is in the silent. Where can you hear God? In the silent. People scream loud, you don't hear them. The more silent it is, the more you can hear God. Where was God in the Holy of Holies, where nothing was heard? The high priest did not say a word, did not utter a word in the Holy of Holies. There where God is. Silent represents also humbleness. There is silent, quiet, nothing there beside God.
Isn't that the opposite picture of what Moses had on Mount Sinai with the thunder, the lightning, the loud noise? It's completely the opposite.
It's very true.
Well, what was it like? What was it like when Moses was on top of the mountain, receiving?
There was a hush, remember? There was a big hush.
They got in the Exodus.
What he says the 4 years, 40 days. He's talking about Mount Sinai.
No, I understand that.
It was a fire, a thunder, all of this.
When the
took
Ten
place.
Commandments are being given, there's a lot of noise going on.
A lot of noise. Because it was the way to wake up everybody. The crowd was
That was
sleeping, you
before,
remember?
wasn't it?
No.
I think when it got spoken, it was a hush. The whole world.
Yeah, the whole world
silent.
was silent, yeah. That was before, it's right. As when God was spoken, but the voice of God was heard everywhere.
Well, that's true.
But the other sounds, the fire and the thunder and the wind, was also a sign from God. He was
Sure.
trying to change his mood.
He was trying to
Convince
tell
him, and
them,
Eliyahu said, he thought to himself, this isn't God.
And
But
that-
it was.
no, what the message was, this isn't God. That's not how you convince people with fire, with thunders, with bringing down fire from heaven, with making a drought. This is not the way it works, mister. In a silent, quiet voice, that's how we bring people to Judaism.
Soft, still voice.
Exactly, not by making thunders and scaring them and bringing fire on them and bringing them famine. You're not going anywhere. Look, you brought down a fire from heaven. Helped them a lot. Nothing.
And the lesson, Eliyahu reappears at the Passover Seder and at the bris, and he doesn't say anything.
It's just there. Good point.
Still small voice.
The lesson learned.
And it became a very famous expression in Hebrew, Loi barash Hashem. God is not found in the noise. Don't make too much noise.
That's fair.
You see, I'll give you an example. There is certain synagogues, people daven very loud and they're getting all... And so when is the most important prayer? The silent Amidah. When you really connect to God. The silent Amidah. Between you and God. Don't make too much noise. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, we're at the beginning of number 13.
What happened was, when Eliyahu heard the silent voice, he covered his face with his cloak because he realized the divine presence was there. He then went out of the cave and stood at the entrance to the cave. A voice came to him and said, "What are you still doing here, Eliyahu?"
The same question again.
All right.
Why is God asking him the same question again?
He didn't like the first question.
He didn't like the first
The
one?
answer, he didn't like the answer, the first answer.
No, when we knew by the Rebbe, when he's saying, it's not because he didn't hear well. He didn't like what you say. He's waiting for you to give you the chance to change it. There's a very famous businessman, George Rowe, in New York. Now he's a big philanthropist. He came many, many years ago to the Rebbe. He told the Rebbe all proudly, I started a minyan for 120 Jews who have no Jewish background. So I told him, he repeats again, no Jewish background. I said again, He realized something is not right. The Rebbe looks at him and says, go back and tell them that they have the background of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What's that thing? He's a Jew with no Jewish background. I remember, Erev Pesach, the Rebbe used to give out packages of matzahs for anybody who makes a public Seder. And people, it was right an hour before the Seder, people used to say, everyone had to say which place is going. Connecticut, this. And never the Rebbe used to ask, the guy never made it to the Seder. Every time. They were the sense, were you taking it? You sure? What? Yeah, I'm going to take it. Okay, take it. Never made it. What I mean to say, when Hashem is asking Elijah the same question again, obviously he's waiting for a different answer. He wanted to save Elijah. He was giving him a second chance. Maybe he will change the attitude.
Or not.
That's the sad part. Okay. We are in number 14.
He said, I have zealously avenged God, the God of hosts, and killed the prophets of Baal. Please help me for your sake. For the children of Israel have abandoned your covenant, torn down your altars, and killed your prophets by the sword. I'm the only one left, and they want to take my life.
He didn't change his story. At least there's the same story.
Right.
He said the same thing. Basically, he says that he can't take it anymore.
So the still small voice didn't really change his... mine yet.
Basically, what is happening here, again, he says to God that he cannot handle the Jewish people. That is not made for it. As we say always, there is no punishment, there is consequences. Look what happened. Number 15.
God said to him, "Go back on your way to the Damascus desert through which you came. When you come there, appoint Hazael to be the king of Aram."
Who is Chazal? You know anything about Chazal? No? Okay, continue. If the historian doesn't know what you're doing.
Appoint Yehu, the son of
Nimshi.
Nimshi, as king of Israel, and appoint Elisha, the son of Shaphat, from Avel Mechola, to be prophet in your place after you depart this world. You know
Wow.
what happens there.
God told them,
You're fired.
the only problem is that by God you're fired, you're not going to Florida. That's the only problem.
Rabbi, how does a prophet, when there's a king and a queen, how does he appoint the king of Israel?
You have to read the story how it was. But yeah, he did it. But
He appointed King David.
Well,
Samuel.
Samuel did.
Samuel,
Yes.
excuse me. But I mean, prophets appoint.
Anoint the
But this is a
they
gentle
anoint
king. This is, he's talking about the king of Aram, not the king of Judaism, of the Jewish people.
Yeah.
That's all a different story. What is important to us is he told them, go and look for Elisha to make him the next prophet. Who happened to him a similar thing in the Bible?
Moses went to Joshua. His understudy.
When was Moses? What happened to Moses?
He lost his knowledge.
He wasn't allowed to enter the land of Israel.
When was Moses lost his leadership?
The rock.
At the rock. Why?
He
12 different
struck the
explanations.
rock instead of speaking to the rock.
First of all, no, so big deal.
Yeah, I
But it
agree.
was-
Didn't God told them the first time to eat the rock? 4 years before?
He didn't sanctify his name.
No, those are all little things. It was really that he wasn't.
First of all, what is the difference in speaking to a rock or eating a rock?
One is out of anger.
No.
Words versus actions.
He also
versus
spoke
action.
badly about the Israelites
That's
before
what I
the
was
rock.
going to say.
What he said?
Rebels.
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 Rebels, right.
Two things here.
Well, that's right. He
There's
was angry.
6 different theories that
Yeah.
Sachs talks
I
about.
can imagine. There is many explanations, but the two things. Number one,
Anger.
there was eating the rock. That was the old style of parents eating their children, and the new style of parents, so to speak, speaking to the children. Moses was, by eating the rock, said, is not up to the new challenge of the new generation to speak to the people. It's not the guys who left Egypt that you to hit the rock and tell them this is what is being done. And God says, basically by eating the rock, he said, is not up to the new generation. But more than that, the moment he says, Shimono Amoirim, listen, rebels.
Yeah. Can't call your children rebels.
But if you call them rebels, that means you
Not the leader.
you don't have patience for them. Then you cannot be the leader. Then God told them, then appoint Joshua. This is it. Again, it's not a punishment. You're not up to it.
How far was that from getting into the land? How many days?
It was far. He died not far, a month before, a month. Exactly a month. But the point is, then the same thing happened to Isaiah, to Elijah. I think it happened to somebody else.
Well, isn't there an analogy with Pinchas? Here too, he's appointed to be the priest.
He was the priest.
But when he's
By Pinchas was just the opposite. His zealousy earned him the job. Because he didn't.
well, Eliyahu was zealous too.
But here he
He's-
abandoned his
he's-
zealousness.
But he didn't use it in the.
No,
he
No.
didn't use it
The
in-
problem was not his zealousness.
He didn't use it in a
As
positive
long
way.
as it was zealous and he wanted to show that God is strong in the world, fine. You need to understand. Pinchas' zealousness saved the Jewish people. He stopped the plague.
Right.
Elijah brought up famine on the people for 3 years. You understand?
Yeah, but he also, Pinchas shed blood, though.
That's what I'm saying. He killed 2 people and he saved the whole nation. Elijah made the whole nation suffer for 3 years. How many people died? That's number 1. Number 2, Elijah came to complain to God again about the Jewish people, instead of defending the Jewish people in the eyes of God. For example, didn't we spoke lately about Habakkuk? Habakkuk, that he was a prophet, that he defended the Jewish people in the eyes of God. He came to God with complaints that, God, how dare you let the Jewish people suffer? Spoke about the Shabbos. I think it was in the Haftorah also.
Yeah.
Habakkuk was standing in a circle and he says, God, I'm not moving until you tell me what will be the end, when Moshiach is going to come. There will be an end to all the tzores. This is the type of prophet that God likes. Somebody who comes to defend the Jewish people. Abraham defended the people, not even the Jewish people. Moses defended the Jewish people. Noah didn't defend anybody. Hashem told them, build an ark. He says, what time should I go in? Didn't care. That Elijah, I think Elijah, you're right, by coming to the Seder, and he's supposed to be the one to tell us Moshiach is coming, it's a total transformation of his personality, if you want. Instead of being an angry prophet, if you want, he became a prophet of bringing good tidings, good news. That's what Elijah became, the most favorable prophet in Jewish history. Everybody knows about Elijah. When you read in the story, he wasn't too popular at that time. Then, okay, let's see what the number 18. Go ahead.
17 maybe?
17? No, we did, 17. Yes.
17?
Yes.
What will happen is they will be your agents to avenge the worshippers of Baal on your behalf. Yehu will kill those who escape the sword of Hazael, and Elisha will kill those who escape the sword of Yehu. I will leave
go ahead.
I will leave over only 7,000 in Israel, all the knees that did not kneel to the Baal, and every mouth that did not kiss it.
Then basically, it's not that Hazael knew who is worshipping idols, and not that Yehu knew this. But Hashem says in their own way and the way they will kill the people who were worshipping idols. Who will survive? Those who didn't.
It's a very interesting principle that the 7,000, so-called the righteous remnant. We see that concept several other places. In Isaiah chapter 10. And
That's written there, don't tell me chapter.
Okay. It's this whole concept of the righteous remnant, that those who are righteous among the group share their merit with the rest of the group, basically.
Share the merit?
Yeah.
Here it doesn't say they share the merit. It says they will only survive, the rest will die.
Yeah. But they redeem the entire group, all right?
That's not what's written now.
But there are more than 7,000 Jews who survive. There are just 7,000 this group that survive. And because those 7,000 survive, and they're the righteous people who still follow God, that's the justification.
This concept started from the beginning, from Abraham.
From Abraham in Sodom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we said we're other places, you say?
Several places in the book of Isaiah that Rashi picks up when he talks about Isaiah 53, that it's the righteous remnant.
You're talking about Moshiach, that he will save the whole world.
Well,
because of him, everybody will. I mean, the concept is a Jewish concept that the tzaddik atones for the whole people. Because of the tzaddik, the whole generation survives. Yes, absolutely. That is a lot. I mean, there is a tzaddik. There is stories in the Talmud on both directions that when a tzaddik was in the neighborhood, that everybody also was behaving the right way. And when some accident, somebody was killed in the neighborhood, that Elijah the prophet came as an angel to the tzaddik and told them, how could such a thing happen in your neighborhood? Obviously, it's a problem that happens, that's with you. When tzaddikim saw a tragedy happen in their neighborhood, they took the blame on themselves. They felt that something is not right with them.
Like the refuge, the priests.
What?
Like the mothers praying for their sons as the priests in the city of refuge. Same thing.
Not exactly, but it's okay. Number 19.
He left there and found Elisha, the son of Shaphat, as he was plowing. 12 pairs of oxen were ahead of him, and he was with the 12th. Eliyahu went over to him and threw part of his cloak over him to hint that he was to become a prophet.
The cloak was the sign of the prophecy. The mantle. And that was it. He just threw it at him like this.
Became an expression, the mantle of prophecy.
Yeah.
But they still have that even in nowadays with someone that wears the cloak. You know, it can be like a
The robe, yeah, basically.
almost like a magician type person. He has a cloak of magic.
Mhm.
Not that this is magic, but
Wasn't he already an apprentice to him, or this is how he becomes the apprentice?
It sounds like he just found him and said,
Just
"Here's
say-
your next."
It sounds like they're meeting.
strange.
They're
It's a
meeting
little
for the first-
strange because all of a
they're
sudden
meeting
he
for the
threw.
first time, aren't they?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking
because
because
he says,
it seems
"Because
very
that's
strange
my
because
master, my father."
because I also thought he was supposed to be his apprentice or that he was his underling or something, and there's not much time from this until he disappears. Basically, he chases after him the whole
He
time.
chases after him until he disappears. Yeah.
Disappears.
I think it was 2.5 years. I think he was.
Oh, is
disciple.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. If I
So there was a
remember
little bit of exchange.
Yeah. Sure. I think if I remember correctly, a while ago, long time ago, I read it was 2.5 years, something like this. The 12 pairs of oxen, isn't this probably maybe reflecting on the 12 tribes that is going to take over the leadership of the Jewish people? Okay, number 20.
Elisha left the ox, ran after Elijah, and said, "Let me please kiss my father and my mother, and I will follow you. Go back and kiss your parents as you wish," he said to them, "but make sure you come back, for if you come with me, you too will perform great miracles as I've done."
Aha. The reaction was to run after Elijah. Then he remembered he has to go back home to kiss his mother and father.
He was a young boy at the time.
No, I don't think he was a young boy.
But it's a mitzvah to honor your parents, and
You think the prophet doesn't know that? If he would need to go to honor his father and mother, the prophet would tell him, go honor your father and mother. He's going along to kiss his mother and father. Yeah,
He's a nice Jewish boy, right?
I know,
Wants
I
to tell his
know.
mother.
he went to tell his mother exactly that he's going. If a true prophet, Elijah comes, you run after him, then am I going to have to kiss my mother and father? You don't build an army with guys who are going to say, father.
I got to consult my
Just
wife.
flee. His parents don't know where he is.
You can send a messenger, tell him I have to go on an emergency meeting.
Send him a
I'll
text.
see you soon. I mean, what? We will not hold it against Elisha, right? He told him, if you will come with me, you will do everything that I did. What ended up in the end? He did everything that he did? Or
Double.
double portion.
portion.
because he asked for it. Elijah asked him, I should be able to do the double portion. That he told him, if you see me disappearing, then you'll be the sign that you will do a double portion. That if he did 6 miracles, he did 12 miracles. I think that's a calculation. That Elisha was a greater part, and Elisha actually was much more soft
Yeah,
than,
more
than
humane.
than Elijah. I think most of the miracles of Elisha were good miracles. Besides 1 or 2, I think, or something. But most of the miracles were good miracles. Yes,
Well, he resurrects 2 people from the dead.
exactly.
He has
Elijah
the
does
oil.
one.
He also has the oil that
The
repeatedly.
story of the oil.
He feeds 100 people with 20 loaves of bread.
Yes. All those.
I can tick off a few more from the
But
material
once
things.
he didn't do something. The kids were running after him and making fun of him. That is bold. You know what I'm talking
That one
about?
doesn't ring any bells.
Yeah. There is a
What
story.
about the leprosy there?
Yeah, he heals Naaman, the Gentile general,
Gentile general.
and dumping him in the Jordan River 7 times.
That's right. Servant.
And then he told Gehazi that he gets the leprosy, showing that was was a consequence.
He cures a blind army, right? 1 point.
Yes.
We need someone like him.
After all this talk, he says we need someone like him. Number 21.
Elisha went away from him. He took the pairs of oxen and slaughtered them. Using the wood from the oxen's plows as fuel, he cooked the meat and gave it to the people who were working for him. And they ate. He got going, went with Eliyahu, and became his servant.
Became his servant. And he went with him, and he didn't let him go. He actually was very dedicated. And Elijah tried to escape him a few times, and he held on to him. And he saw Elijah is disappearing. And he said, well, he called him out, and he disappeared. My father, the chariot of Israel, right? Mm-hmm. From there we learn that your teacher is your father. From this line. And then he came back to the yeshiva and he told everybody Elisha disappeared. He told them, no, you come back. And he didn't come back. They went, the whole yeshiva went to look for him. They looked and looked and looked and they couldn't find him.
Didn't he send a letter? Sure. Didn't he send a letter back?
He got a letter from Elijah. Yeah, Elijah
that's what I'm
sent
saying.
a
Elijah
letter.
sent a letter. Yeah.
Elijah sent, it came a letter from Elijah, yes.
That was really airmail.
But they were searching for him. They didn't want to give up. They were searching for the Rebbe, and they were looking to go. I just want to read the note 12 on this page 1462, in the bottom underneath the line. The silent voice. God is in the silence. Yeah. Who is supposed to read?
A subtle, silent voice. Some people think that their task in life is to transform the entire world in one swoop. Their talents are simply too precious to be spent on the minor details of other people's lives. This applies especially to rabbis and communal leaders, some of whom perceive their exclusive contribution to Jewish life as speeches to the congregation, clarification of the obscure minutiae of Jewish law, and pondering the future of the Jewish religion. Their public addresses focus on pressing world issues such as the need for democracy, nuclear warfare, and recent meetings of world leaders. However, such tasks as teaching people how to keep Shabbos, to keep kosher, to observe the laws of family purity, or to make blessings before and after eating are below their dignity. That is the job of the assistant rabbi. The senior rabbi must devote his time to more important matters, making sure that the newspapers take note of his latest activities, and nothing less than the front page will do. Our Haftorah teaches God does not come with thunder. Rather, God is to be found in the silent, subtle voice, the small acts of caring for other people's needs.
But the rabbis, they're all different approach. Many rabbis and leaders, as the Rebbe said, have the approach they're going to change the world. We're going to do something big, huge. And the Rebbe's approach was, every rabbi goes to his own little city, and he meets one little girl, and he convinces her to light candles. Then he meets one little Jew, and he convinces him to put on film. And another Jew, he learns with him one page in the Bible. That changing the world will not come by big events, by bringing down the fire on Mount Carmel didn't help him. After the biggest event, he was ready, he gave up. The biggest event was his peak point, you understand? From Elijah. And then he went to Mount Sinai, he had the revelation of God, he got nowhere. The event, life, God wants life, normal life, day-to-day activities, the regular challenges, the fight of every day. That's where you find God. In the silent you hear God. In the small acts you see God. Not in the big events. Abraham, after he offered the sacrifice of his son as a sacrifice, that was the last time God spoke to him. Mm-hmm. Never again.
Last time his wife spoke to him too.
Yes.
Literally.
It goes together. His wife doesn't talk to you when God doesn't speak to you.
No,
Maybe.
no
But then he remarried. But God didn't speak to him again. What I mean to say is, and that's the lesson that we learn from this story. It's not about bringing down the fire. One of the Hasidic rabbis said that before Moshiach comes, the fire will come down on the other side. Understand?
First? Before us?
It means to say the bad side will have miracles, not the good side. It will make sense. You will say, oh, they prove that they are speaking in the name of God. We'll still have to hold on to our truth. Even there is miracles. By us, there is no miracles. It doesn't change the truth. Miracles don't change at all. And the commitment that we do the right thing, no matter what, that's what we learn from this story. That it's not about big miracles, but more importantly, is every one of us, always when you see another Jew doing something, you should try to defend them in the eyes of God. Not to persecute them in the eyes of God, or defending them. That's what you learn from. We are not here to embarrass Elijah. The Torah is not here to speak bad about Elijah, such a great prophet. The Torah is here to teach us a lesson. When I speak, when you speak, when you see somebody, we can judge somebody favorably or not favorably. Let's take the favorable side. Let's find the reason how to defend them in the eyes of God. To find, maybe he didn't know. Or you see somebody in the shul with a cell phone. Everybody gets all woke up. He forgot. He doesn't know that cell phones are not such a common behavior here. I mean, he didn't know that. That's it. It's not like it's also a cultural thing. I officiated a funeral for Russian Jews in New York. The phones were ringing all over throughout the funeral. And people continued to talk like nothing happened. The speakers continued to speak like they were not even offended. It's a cultural thing. It's normal. I'll talk to you later. Everything goes on in the middle. I was once in a Chabad event. The rabbi spoke in front of 300 rabbis. Suddenly his phone rings, he picks out the phone, hello? In the middle of the speech. He couldn't miss the phone.
He didn't put on vibrate?
And when you, I didn't even know about vibrate at that time. The point is to learn to be on Elijah's and the good side of Elijah, to always to defend the Jewish people, to learn from Moses.